James, the husband of Stephanie Brown James.
Exactly. First and foremost.
First and foremost, with the Collective PAC. You all heard us talk about the Collective PAC. We got the Collective PAC in the flesh.
Thanks for having
me. Good to see you, brother. Congratulations.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
A couple nights ago, we were in Midtown. Hillary Clinton came to appear at a fundraiser. That's a big deal.
It is. It is. She's been a big supporter of ours from the very beginning, 2017, with her organization Onward Together. So it's been awesome to have her be a part of this movement as well.
And she talked about the importance of electing black candidates, black elected officials.
Exactly. Look, if we're going to see a blue wave this November, it has to be a little black too. We have a historic number of candidates running, and so if we're going to win states like the Florida Senate race, it's really important that we win that governor's race with a black candidate too. So those kind of examples are around the country this cycle.
So Pete, we've talked for years. I helped co-found a black political party. There have been a number of black political movements, but never really a viable or well-known black PAC. I think there have been a lot of conversations.
Right.
But it's like it just never really got off the ground. Why do you think that was?
Look, I think, all the challenges that we know about our communities are true, right? One of those being the wealth gap.
Yeah.
And so when you ask people to, take money out of their, checking accounts and give it to politics, it's kind of different. It's kind of new.
Yeah.
We saw the phenomenon of Barack Obama's fundraising in 2008 and 2012. And so we were part of those campaigns. And so we wanted to figure out how could we tap into that a little bit at a time. And so, over the past year, we've raised over $5 million supporting, our candidates. And that's huge, right? But the Koch brothers are spending $400 million from just their own pockets, right?
Yeah, right.
And so we are making a dent. We are doing something that I think really hadn't been done this way before, but we got a long way to go to keep the work up.
Now, I just want to be sure in case people in the car or the phone, they're watching online, the phone broke up, the signal got bad. You said $5 million, right?
$5 million. We are crossing that mark and continuing because again, everyone's turning into the election now. But look, it's tough.
Well, I know. Well, and let's face it, the reality is the culture of fundraising has changed.
Exactly.
In terms of small dollar donations.
Right.
And I think that makes a difference too, because you're right. It was always too intimidating.
Right. Exactly.
Especially do it for black candidates. And let's be honest, we've been in politics for a long time, and you would have members of the Black Caucus that would say they were trying to represent their own constituency,
right? But
the money was coming from somewhere else.
Exactly, and that's always going to be again a challenge because of those, socioeconomic issues that we deal with in our community.
Right.
However, look, we got to do the best we can.
Yeah.
And the thing that we've been able to do is say, look, if you're somebody in California or New York, you should care about who the governor is of Florida, especially if they're African American.
Yeah.
And so that money can also come beyond just your state and your districts, but from around the country.
And them small dollar Jones help. Every little bit helps. Everybody's chipping in now.
And let me tell you, Mark, our average contribution is $41.
Is that right?
Exactly.
$41 as opposed to 40. What is about 41?
I don't know. It's just the numbers, right?
All right. Okay.
But again, when you get to thousands of contributions, right?
Yeah,
like
it adds up.
Exactly.
That's right. So, is there a maximum one can give a political action committee like Collective PAC?
Yeah. So, because of the way the campaign finance laws are written, we have to create different organizations under the umbrella of the collective. So we have a PAC, that's a federal PAC, and that limit is $5,000 that a person can give. But the Supreme Court decided that money is free speech. Now we don't agree with that.
Right.
But we got to play with the cards that we've been dealt. So we have a super PAC as well that can take unlimited amounts of money from individuals or businesses as well.
And also, if someone listening, let's say, has, I guess, maxed out giving directly to an individual candidate,
right,
they can still support that candidate, like Stacey Abrams, like Andrew Gillum, like Ben Jealous, like Johanna Hayes, like Ayanna Presley. See, I got the roll call, brother.
Exactly.
Colin Allred. They can, Lucy McBath. They can still support those candidates through the collective
Exactly,
PAC. Okay.
Exactly. So they can give us up to $5,000 that, again, we are spending not just directly with those candidates, but to go out and recruit new additional donors, right?
Yeah, right.
So the phenomenal thing, I know we've been hearing a lot about Facebook advertising and the Russians and everything.
Yeah.
We've had an actual good experience this cycle. When we spend money on advertising, you'll see a banner that says "Click here to support Stacey Abrams or Andrew Gillum or Ben Jealous."
Right.
Those ads are performing at 195% return for us.
Wow.
So, for instance, if I spend $1 on advertising, we're getting back $1.90 within 3 or 4 days. So that support for us is helping us go out and recruit more and more and more people to build this movement, as you mentioned, right? It has to happen online because it's the most effective means.
That's
to
where everybody
reach
is.
Exactly.
That's where everybody is. And the campaigns look good. They look good and slick. This ain't raggedy. You know, that makes a difference too. You know, people want to see nice stuff. So, bells and whistles, and it's all right there. So what was revealed when we were with President Hillary Clinton the other night was that you all are going to have the ability to reach, was it over 3 million people via text?
Yeah, so we are about to launch the largest mobile GOTV program targeting Black voters in history. So between now and Election Day, we're going to be talking to about 3.1 million registered African-American voters in some key states around the country, right? And this is happening peer-to-peer, right? So the way the technology works and the FEC rules, say is that I can't just send that out at one time to that many people. I have to individually send out those messages saying, "Hello, Mark, how you doing, brother? Notice you're a registered voter. Have you voted early yet?" We'll have a conversation. If not, all right, well, did you know you can go vote at this location early?
Right.
You need a ride? Like, we want to have that conversation, via mobile, because that's where we all are. We're attached to our phones every day. And so it's really expensive and tough to knock on everybody's doors.
Of course.
But, sitting in front of our computer, in front of our phones, we can have those conversations with folks, about the importance of the election.
That's amazing. So what will people be able to do? How can they get engaged in that text messaging program?
Yeah, so we're going to be rolling this program out starting on October 27th.
Okay.
And we're going to be hosting a series of brunches around the country. So come get some chicken and waffles, some mimosas.
People like brunch. Y'all like brunch.
Exactly. And volunteer with us to, do this work. So we'll be doing events in Atlanta, D.C., here in New York. We'll be in Chicago, L.A., Cleveland. We'll be all over the country hosting these kind of, GOTV brunches with our community to make sure that we're talking to voters across, the entire nation about the importance of the election.
This is big, folks. Collective PAC is doing it. We want people to support the Collective PAC. All of our listeners, small dollar donate. The average is $41.
$41.
Y'all got $41. Y'all got $41.
Exactly.
Give that so they can support all of these great candidates and all the candidates. Your win ratio. Has been pretty good.
Exactly. We're at about 60% of all of our endorsed candidates have won their primaries and now seeking to win these elections in November. But I tell you, this is going to be a record-breaking year. People are really focused on, the Senate is no longer in play and, the House isn't looking too great. I think what we've seen in every one of our races is that Black candidates have been overperforming polling. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So they had Andrew Gillum coming in third, right?
That's right.
Stacey Abrams maybe winning by 5, right? Won by 50.
Yeah.
And so what we know is that the polls aren't showing the real account of what's happening on the ground with our folks because they aren't being polled.
No.
And so I'm really interested to see that surprise factor on election night.
Well, you're right. Andrew sat right here, and we did the math.
Exactly.
And Quentin. I'm a little bit older than Quentin, but we were kind of raised around some of the same people. And, Marion Barry taught us how to count.
Exactly.
So I said, Quentin, we just sat around there. I said, Quentin, so how many candidates? He said 5. So we were dealing with, I said, so Quentin, if you get about 30%, you can win this.
Exactly.
He said, that's all I need.
Exactly.
And what he get? He got like 33, 34 of it.
Exactly.
So, we called it, and everybody was like, oh my God, how did you know that? I said, just simple math.
Exactly.
It's not like, we had some prophecy, and even though we all prophets, but still, we did the math, and people were just blown away. I was not surprised at all.
Exactly.
And so, how you feeling about Stacey? Because they're trying to suppress her.
I feel great. I'm really concerned with their tactics, right?
Yeah.
So we saw this week a bus of senior citizens,
Yeah,
went to vote.
Our friend
And
Latasha Brown was leading that
Black
bus.
Voters Matter, right? And they
right.
said, oh no, the bus isn't registered to take people to go vote. And so that's not a law, obviously, right? But
the bus got to be registered now.
right, exactly.
So next thing gonna tell us we got to have our cars registered to go vote.
Exactly.
Does your car have a voter registration card?
So I'm worried about their ability to suppress the vote. Stacey and her team have built the largest voter protection program ever in Georgia's history. But look, we know if they fight clean, then they can't win.
And that's what Secretary Clinton said. That's what she said the other night. Exactly. She said, if it's fair, we win.
Exactly.
They got to cheat and steal.
Right.
And I was glad she said that, because that's what we need to call it for what it is.
Exactly.
They play a whole lot of little games like that. Like they asked her Sunday, well, should your husband have resigned? The man right in the thing right now. Why don't I ask him if he resigned?
Exactly.
You know? And, Elizabeth Warren got to take a test. Well, let's make him take a test to see if he has Nazi blood. We got to go hit them back, Quentin.
Right. No,
anyway, I'm acting up, y'all. Y'all know me. But anyway, support Collective PAC, collectivepac.org or .org. Collectivepac.org. Listen out for this text. I would link this with what we've been talking about with NAACP. They've been talking about be responsible for 5 people.
Exactly.
5 people. All right, you get 5 people to the polls with you. I had Gwen Moore on, and she brought up a good point. When we talk about people not voting, she says what we won't admit is that the people who don't go vote, Quentin, and don't do anything, are some of the people closest to us.
Exactly.
And she said the point. She told a story about a pair of twins she knew. One of them went to vote, and the other twin didn't. She said, "How does that happen?
Right.
Y'all twins."
Exactly.
She said the people who ain't doing what they supposed to do, either not voting, not sending this $41 to the Collective PAC, have their feet under our table eating food. Some of them sleeping in the bed next to us. All right, we need to be. Don't assume.
Exactly.
When folk leave out in the morning, and also early voting.
Yes.
We can early vote in many states. Right, can't do it here in New York, which is crazy, but we can early vote right now.
Exactly. And that is the work, right? We got to make sure folks know when to go vote, how to go vote. If you need a ride, we'll get you a ride. We don't want there to be any barrier to folks exercising their constitutional right to choose who's our leaders, right? Who is representing us? Who is going to make the policies in our communities that have so much impact on our daily lives, or whether it be healthcare reform, taxes, whatever those issues are that are pocketbook issues, right, affecting who we are as a community, are going to be decided on November 6th. And so we need everybody to do everything you can to get your friends, family, neighbors out to vote.
Is some of the money that you're raising going to go toward GOTV actually getting people to the polls?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of cool partnerships being launched around the country. So we've been hearing about Lyft and Uber providing free rides to go vote on Election Day. We're going to be also making sure volunteers are getting out on Election Day to get folks out to vote. So you'll be hearing much more about that as we get closer to the election. But yes.
But they need this help. They need this Collective PAC doing great historic things, folks. I'm so proud of Quentin and Stephanie. I say that they're the next Barack and Michelle Obama.
I don't know about that.
But in many respects, maybe even more. Because there's one thing about being a king or a queen. There's nothing about being king and queen makers. So they might actually make 10 or 12 Barack and Michelle Obamas. So that might be even better. That might be even better to identify you all, because you're helping to elevate people in that position. And they got 2 a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Exactly, Carter and Elijah.
Out of control. And they're juggling all this. How y'all okay doing that, man?
Yeah. It's tough sometimes, but it's so much at stake, man. We all got to dig in. You've been digging in for years. We need everybody to just do their part, right? Do your part. And I think we will be very happy with what happens on Election Day.
Yeah, no, and I took my son to meet Secretary Clinton for the first time the other day.
Nice.
And he's 16, and he's at the age where he don't want to do a whole lot with his old man no more.
Right.
And I told Secretary Clinton that too. I said, but when I said to him, you want to go home? He said, what are you gonna do? I said, we're gonna go see Hillary Clinton. Okay, I'll go. Just like he didn't even think about it. And I was like, okay, so you're gonna do that. I guess that's a cool thing to do.
Right.
We weren't going to see, Zendaya or Ariana Grande. He said, I'm gonna see him. But because of you all, you raising your sons, but I'm raising my son to be exposed, and because you all invited us and invited him, he able for him. So that's part of the king and Queen making, the Barack and Michelle making. So I think I'm gonna alter that because Stephanie don't like when I say y'all the next Barack and Michelle when she gets mad at me, and so I'm gonna start saying that y'all are making Baracks and Michelles.
Hey,
everywhere.
Look, if we can continue training, supporting these candidates, giving them the resources to win, I think what's possible is that, right? Is seeing additional black presidents, black governors, black mayors in cities we've never had black mayors before. And so that's what this work is really about, is about representation, make sure our community, which is as strong as it is, right? Those who've given so much for us to be here, get to see themselves in these high seats of power across the country. This
is the manifestation, the application of black political theory that we've been talking about for the past century. Dr. Ron Walters, God bless his soul, a mentor of both of ours. I mean, I know he's looking down, just so proud of the two of you and the courage it takes, having a new family, how we going to get this done, going from city to city, ripping and running, and it's just amazing. And what you all have been able to do, I'm so proud. I'm just glad to be able to say I know you.
Not at all.
And have always known
you. Thank you for having space on your programs, though, for our candidates, right, to talk about themselves. I mean, that's another, barrier, right, is that their access to media. So thank you, Mark, for the work you're doing as well.
Yeah, we're going to keep it up, and we're going to keep pushing the collective PAC. We're going to be talking to more candidates. I'm trying to get to myself. I need a plane. My own plane, but I'm trying to get to Stacy and Andrew and get down there where they've all been on the show, but I want to go to them in the next couple of weeks. But folks, please support Collective PAC, collectivepac.org. $41. $41. Do it right now. Go online right now and do it. That's all you have to do. It will help. Give more if you can, but if you can at least get $41, that will help these candidates so we can win this House, win some of these governorships. They have statewide candidates, legislative candidates that support it. That's almost as important, if not as important, as winning the House, because the census is coming up,
right?
And we can reverse some of this gerrymandering that's going on. This is urgent work. So. Brother, thank you.
Thank you
Love
so much.
to the family. So proud of you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Quentin James, the Q, y'all, in the house. CollectivePAC.org. Thank you, man.